Here with your news and sectors for today. Cooperative governance and municipality sector news, education sector news, civil society sector news. Hello and welcome to Connect World TV, your world in one village that brings you your news, a sector at a time, with special Know Your Government, community and environment sector pieces whose inclusion aims to bring the government to the people to the government, one person to another. My name is Kesia Kulu. Coming out of COPTA and municipality sector news today, the province of KwaZulu-Natal continues to experience torrential rains that cause death in the area of Emawoti right here in Durban. And of course, this family is really suffering and our hearts go out to them. The mayor of eThekwini municipality, Mxolisi Kaunda, visited this family and also notified us as the media that quite a number of areas in the province have been disrupted, especially if some roads are being reconstructed, so the community should have some patience.
There were indications on damages to properties and other infrastructure. Our teams are still consolidating reports in relation to the damages that we have experienced in terms of infrastructure. But yesterday we received a report that at night, where we are at Amawoti Nanda, there are two family members, the husband and the wife from Zondo family, who passed on because both the wall and the roof fell over them yesterday at night, very late. As a result, they were also certified dead at the spot. So as a municipality, we have also visited the family. We have engaged with the family members, also to pledge our support during this difficult period and also to express our heartfelt condolences to the family. We are happy that even committee members have risen to the occasion in terms of trying to clean up some of the roads and blocked stormwater systems, which we regard that as an activism from the citizenry that are responsible in our city.
Daughter to the deceased, Zilungile Nyanguli, explains to us the traumatic experience she encountered in the night as she woke up only to discover that her parents were both dead.
Bekuyizolo yenzakala izolo cabanga ukuthi bengabona ngezwa umsindo kungathi kuba into ngaphuma ngekamereni because usiswami beselelo mntana ngaphuma ekamereni mangibona awu kowelo udonga lowele phezukwabo ngagijima hamba ngombiza ke sathi sisama ukubasiza sangakwazi wagijima usiswami hamba ubiza abantu bathi bafika abantu sebeyabakhipha vela basekho. Umndeni abantu abawu4 useswama ngasebenzi ubaba behola impesheni so besiphila ngayo.
The Department of Transport, regulated under the Transport Act under the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa 1996 as a public body, exists to ensure the following among others: the provision of road infrastructure and maintenance, road traffic enforcement, safety and education in the sphere of road, rail, marine and aviation. In order for the Department of Transport to fully enforce its mandate, it requires the complete cooperation of road users and community at large. Some of the ways in which the people can work with the Department of Transport is to cooperate through adherence to its relevant policies, report any infrastructural, operational, and social problems. In relations to more news on motoring and transport, tune into your stop of preference, Connect World TV, #ConnectWorldTV, #ConnectWorldTV sector news on all social media platforms.
This from Education Sector News today, the MEC of the province of KwaZulu-Natal brought members of the media to announce and deliver 8 buses that are being delivered to special needs children in the province.
Every citizen, young and old, is treated with respect, with dignity, and afforded equal opportunities to prosper in life. as the Department of Education, we carry responsibility to build a nation. Education should not be a preserve for only those who can afford. Education should be available for every person, young person who must be at school during the years at which that person must attend schooling. People with disability are treated as charity cases. We do every other thing that we get to remember them when probably we have done all that we want to do and say there are those who live with disability, who are disabled. And therefore, I must be seen taking one wheelchair to donate.
As part of our drive to ensure that inclusive education become a center stage of what we do in the Department of Education, learners with a special need, they don't need to be treated as charity cases. They need to be afforded equal opportunities like all other learners. So that is why as a department we opted to first buy this fleet of buses, which is 8 of them, specifically designed for learners with special needs. We'll be unveiling another set of 15 buses at the beginning of next year. We also handed over the Braille textbook so that our learners are also able to now study with ease. It's really a case of giving them what is due to them, because we're not donating, we're not treating them as a special case. We have a revolutionary responsibility as a department, as a caring government, to ensure that as the vulnerable group in society, we empower them with necessary education so that they are able to become independent in future. So I've instructed the department that the next stop as we roll out the program of ICT connection and e-learning should be at least one of our special schools in the province, so that they are also able to keep up with times.
This way again, so I keep holding on.
Here are the top 8 most influential unions and political parties in South Africa. The role of unions and political parties is to ensure the welfare of its members, protecting the reliability of their trade, and to advocate for the needs of the community. You can get to be a member of any political party or trade union of your choice by simply visiting an office of that particular organization anywhere near you. For more news relating to politics and union sector news, tune on to your preference stop, Connect World Sector News, and hashtag Connect World Sector News on all social media platforms.
The cities are talking. The 2019 UCLG conference took place right here in Durban, where the aim was to discuss all matters relating to urbanization, global warming, and so forth. We saw mayors of the world, we saw business consortiums, as well as civil society to discuss this matter.
You, the leaders of cities and local authorities, are at the vanguard of harnessing global opportunities and managing global risks. You pioneer solutions to meet your community's needs and aspirations. But the truth is, your tasks are growing ever greater and ever more complex. Our world today is marked by profound transitions. Last Saturday marked 3 decades since the fall of the Berlin Wall and the end of the Cold War, and perhaps the greatest symbol of that promise was the democratic transition just a few years later in South Africa. And now, 25 years on, geopolitics is back with a vengeance. Shifting global power relations have fueled uncertainty across the globe. We're seeing a resurgence of rivalry between the world's largest economies, but also increased polarization at the regional and national levels. Political establishments are questioned, and popular discontent in many places is on the rise.
Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, who was also the acting president at the time, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, took to the fore and spoke of the African United Africa agenda.
However, the same report informs us that the world's richest 1% owns 45% of the world's wealth, and the top 10 own over 84% of global wealth. On the other hand, adults with less than 10,000 in wealth make up 64% of the world's population, and they hold less than 2% of global wealth. Although we live in the most productive times, the benefits are skewed and unequal. Now I'm going to talk a bit more about this unequal wealth, because all the other problems, whether it be terrorism, whether it be wars, they stem from the fact that people are poor, but they can see that there is wealth in the world. The World Bank's Poverty and Shared Prosperity Report concludes that although the number of people who live in extreme poverty has declined by about 68 million since 2013, poverty is on the rise in several countries, particularly in Africa, where the bottom 40% of the population is left behind. Additionally, the Food and Agriculture Organization informs us that there are 815 million in the world who face hunger. So how can there be peace in the world when 815 million people are hungry? And when there is enough money in the world to feed all of them? So, the world also loses about 30% of the food due to wastage between the farm and the fork. Economic development can generate and sustain growth. It can also support the provision of basic social and economic infrastructure, as well as human development. We are therefore looking forward to the outcomes of the co-creation tracks of this conference, which already have a number of position papers from all parts of the world except from Africa. For Africa, the framework for such actions exists in our continental program, known as Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. Through our 7 aspirations and the first 10-year implementation plan,
we speak to the eThekwini Municipality's Speaker, Weziwe Tusi, and she tells us the importance of such an event in the city.
We're so excited. We're hosting 3 international conferences at the same time with delegates, mayors from 8 different countries. So exciting for us as the Durban work. They're looking for better living style. What we're doing as the city, we're trying to make sure that we build houses, although it's so difficult for us to build houses. Each time you build, there are people who come in because they think there are better prospects in the city. But what we're going to be doing as well is to create jobs and have people working. But what the province is assisting us is creating jobs and building new towns in the areas where there were no towns. As you know, KZN is building new cities, as local government is championing that, building new cities where there were no towns, so that we can create jobs nearer to where the people are living, so that we don't have the much influx to our city. But we're trying to deal with the influx that we already have by making sure that our councillors do consult with their communities, and we know how many people do need houses, so that we can be able to provide for them. And also the city together working with the provincial government. In fact, the president has launched a program, the district development program, the new program that is making the national government, provincial government and local government work together to ensure that we give the best services to the people in the country, because all along we've been working in silos. The national government will do this, provincial government will then come and do this, and then local government will do this.
The Department of Transport, regulated under the Transport Act under the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, 1996, as a public body, exists to ensure the following among others: the provision of road infrastructure and maintenance, road traffic enforcement, safety and education in the sphere of road, rail, marine, and aviation. In order for the Department of Transport to fully enforce its mandate, it requires the complete cooperation of road users and community at large. Some of the ways in which the people can work with the Department of Transport is to cooperate through adherence to its relevant policies, report any infrastructural, operational, and social problems. In relation to more news on motoring and transport, tune into your stop of preference, Connect World TV, #ConnectWorldTV, #ConnectWorldTV sector news on all social media platforms.
Well, YMCA, the Global Community Movers, have hosted a very nice training session right here in Durban between Cameroon, Denmark, and South Africa. And in it, the volunteers were able to learn quite a number of things, but most importantly, how to put a winning proposal together, the ingredients that come together to make a winning proposal. And boy, oh boy, didn't they have a convergence right there. We spoke to Tandega, who is the international coordinator for South Africa, and she elaborated for us about this partnership and what the volunteers stand to learn.
Basically, it's volunteers working together and to make a change in their communities, in their respective communities. We want to learn global issues together and then take them back home into our different countries and implement things that are relevant in our countries. Also to share cultural experience between all the 3 different countries and the young people. So it's basically an exposure. That's the 2 things, and we are called the White Local project team, so that's who we are. And so in South Africa, we basically work with young people. That's our aim. YMCA is a youth organization, and with Denmark, there's a partnership with YWCA. So it's YMCA and YWCA. And we work with young people from both genders. We're not specific to only one gender. And our aim is to provide inclusive spaces for young people to grow, to get to know themselves in a safe space, and to learn more and become better people that are influential in their communities.
I'm a part of the partnership, White Local, and I have been a part of also developing the partnership. And I'm also engaged in the SDGs and the Sustainable Development Goals and how we implement that in the local associations all over Denmark. One of the reasons actually why we have chosen to be a part of this partnership is that often we see that there's a tendency in the social media and in the media telling about Africa as like one country, or it's about poor people who have been victimized kind of, and who doesn't really know what to do and how to do. And I think that's also because there has been a long tradition of development work and development aid and all this. So they have been portrayed as people who are in need, who needs the help from Danish and from Western countries. So we are of a different view. We think something else, and we have actually also experienced something else. The people we meet in some of the African countries, for example in Cameroon and in South Africa, is that there are people who are really engaged and they are powerful. Sometimes they're in lack of knowledge or tools or empowerment to do something, and then we try to learn from each other and to get inspired by each other. So that's also a part of the partnership, to exchange and learn from each other. The joyfulness of a lot of different Africans that I've met is really impacting our culture and how we see things, and also the confidence I've experienced that a lot of Africans have in themselves. They, at least in Denmark, a lot of young people, they don't trust in themselves, they don't believe in themselves. And many people I've met in Cameroon and South Africa, they have a different view on themselves. They're seeing themselves as strong individuals who know what they're striving for, and then they will fight for that. Of course, it's not always like that, but many of the people I've met from Cameroon and South Africa are like this, and I think that is really inspiring. And also for me, as a kind of insecure Danish young girl, it can be difficult sometimes to be in this world and how can I do anything. But I've learned from the friends that I have in Cameroon and South Africa that yes, I can do something and I can actually make a difference.
Budgeting is the first process of financial planning. Now, what we do not want to do is to make you finance people. A number of you, when you're running projects, you fear budgeting, but I want to say you don't have to be a finance person to know how to budget. Is that okay? Yes.
Desley, who is the students' chairperson at KwaZulu-Natal representing YMCA, also spoke to us.
I'm Desley Ramunyai, and I'm the student chairperson of the UKZN Student YMCA, which is a student-based YMCA, and I'm also part of White Local, which is a triangular partnership between Cameroon, Denmark, and South Africa, and our main focus is on the Sustainable Development Goals, because we've realized that we've got a lot of issues, we've got a lot of challenges in each and every country, but they contextualize differently. So we come to equip each other with skills and ways to combat and actually achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And with one of the goals, there's a mention of gender equality and the likes, and with everything that has been happening, especially with context to the universities, we've been experiencing a lot of gender-based violence and rape in our universities in South Africa. Recently we've had cases, Uyinena from UCT, we've had Sandile from DUT, and this is something that puts students at unease. It's something that is taunting, and we are not safe. Even myself as the student chairperson, I feel like we are not safe. But there's only much that we can do, and it all comes back to education. It all comes back to the socio-economic issues that we are facing, the structural challenges. It comes back also to how people were brought up in their families, the stigmas and the culture. Everything comes together and it contributes towards this. And as the Student YMCA, we have been able to identify all those things that we think are contributing towards this alarming rate and this unpleasant events that have been going on of gender-based violence. And as a result, we are just pleading with young people to come together and just pour out their hearts and tell us what is it that we can do to actually help. We've got a program at the UKZN Student YMCA, which is the mental health program, whereby we try to actually analyze, or rather psychoanalyze, how men were brought up. And actually we have another program that is called Transformative Masculinity, whereby we redefine what society has already defined as a real man. For example, a real man doesn't cry. All of those things, they pile up, and in return it blows up at the end, it's anger. So we've all come together as counselors, as students, as people that are observing the situation, and we come together to try and come up with solutions. So that is us also combating one of the SDGs with our Sustainable Development Goals. So that is what White Local, in context of the UKZN Student YMCA, working with students, is doing.
The Department of Transport, regulated under the Transport Act under the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, 1996, as a public body, exists to ensure the following, among others: the provision of road infrastructure and maintenance, road traffic enforcement, safety and education in the sphere of road, rail, marine, and aviation. In order for the Department of Transport to fully enforce its mandate, it requires the complete cooperation of road users and community at large. Some of the ways in which the people can work with the Department of Transport is to cooperate through adherence to its relevant policies, report any infrastructural, operational, and social problems. In relations to more news on motoring and transport, tune into your stop of preference, Connect World TV, #ConnectWorldTV, #ConnectWorldTV sector news on all social media platforms.
We have come to the end of this particular session with you. Remember, you can hashtag us, #ConnectWorldTV, #ConnectWorldTV Sector News, and let us know the stories you would like us to track for you. Have a good morning, South Africa.